Welcome to Lake County Schools Ed Talks, a podcast about all the exciting things going on in our district. Sponsored by Addition Financial Credit Union.
Hello, everyone. This is Lake County Schools Ed Talks, and I'm Sherry Owens, Communications Officer for the district and your host for today's podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We have a very special guest with us today. Ashley Ellixson is a brand new teacher who also was the first student to have completed the 4-year teacher prep program at the Tavares High School Teaching Academy. Ms. Ellixson graduated from that program back in 2021, and now she has earned her degree and has returned to Lake County Schools to start her career as a kindergarten teacher at Astatula Elementary School. Welcome, Ms. Ellixson.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So you have survived your first week and a half of teaching kindergarten. How's it been?
It's been very exciting. I felt so prepared having the teaching academy under my belt, but honestly, nothing can prepare you more than just being in the classroom, being hands-on with the students. And I have an amazing school, faculty, friends, mentors, all of that to help me along the way.
That is wonderful. This is really a dream come true for you. Now, it's a dream you had to work for, but still a dream come true. How did you become interested in teaching in the first place? Who or what inspired you?
I always knew I wanted to be a teacher from the time I was about 2 or 3 years old. I have pictures of me lining up all my baby dolls and teaching them. But honestly, as I got older and just started to be in the classroom myself, I fell in love with school. There was never a time I didn't want to go to school. My mom practically had to beg me to stay home whenever I was sick just because of how much I loved school.
Whoa.
So I always knew that was something I wanted to do. And then just as I got older, I found I'm an only child, so I never got to experience having siblings, but I would play with my friends or play with their younger siblings or something like that, just so I could get that experience of playing teacher. And then after school, I'd go and play with baby dolls or my imaginary students out on the back porch and just kind of draw and play with them and teach them little things like that. So it just got better as I got older.
That's amazing. Not many of us know what we want to do at 13 or 14, much less 2 or 3. But you did. You knew the career path that you wanted to take, and you got an early start preparing at the Tavares High School Teaching Academy. Tell us about that experience.
That was an amazing experience. I'd honestly recommend it to anybody, even if you are not 100% sure that you want to be in the education field. I remember being in my first year and a lot of people were just in that class because it was something new. We really didn't know much about it. So there was a few people in there that ended up being, I think they're counselors now. There's a couple people that went into the nursing field. But honestly, either way, if you take a step back and think about it, we're all impacted by education in one way or another.
Right.
So I think honestly, even being in the first year, like that was whenever a lot of people kind of found themselves. And the first year, we really focused on reading buddies. So we were able to go partner. I remember specifically partnering with a 3rd grade child and just learning the different things that child was impacted by. You know, we don't all have this perfect living situation.
Right.
So it was really interesting. It kind of opened my eyes to the behind the scenes that the teachers face, because as students, we had to kind of get to know that too.
Right.
And we also had to learn, sometimes you're going to become really close with these students and they're going to tell you things that they don't tell a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So that was something that kind of broke my heart, but I'm glad that I got that experience, because that was just something, it was way more than just reading to a child to me. It was more about, getting that experience and learning more about those children. And then just teaching academy as a whole just really helped as the years went on. Each program got more and more intense, but in a great way. It just really opened my eyes to so many different things. And then once I got to college, I actually did feel prepared more so than a lot of my peers, because I'd already been in the classroom. I already wrote lesson plans. Yeah. I'd already implemented. And even with the help of Lake Sumter and our fabulous mentors, Stephanie Luke and Marnie Kay, we were able to even create these huge events for the whole grade level and not just a specific class. So having all of that experience, I felt like I was ready to just tackle a classroom right after high school, honestly.
Well, it sounds like you were ready. I remember hearing a saying once that teaching is heart work. And it seems like that was one of the first lessons you learned about connecting with students and really caring about them. And once you care about them, it sounds like the rest, I won't say it's easy, but the rest will come a little easier if you actually care about the students you're working with.
For sure. I agree. You always have to build those relationships first, because at the end of the day, that's what they're going to remember most. They are not going to remember you teaching them 1+1,
Right.
but they will remember that you will always be there for them. And, you know, even if it means giving them a little pat on the back whenever they're having a bad day, building those relationships, you really do see their true colors and you get to know them for who they are.
Yeah. Now, once you left Tavares, you went to Lake Sumter. Is that right? Lake Sumter State College, or?
I went directly to the University of Central Florida.
Okay.
I graduated high school with my associate's degree.
Oh, wonderful.
So
Okay.
I did Lake Sumter and Tavares High School simultaneously my
Got
junior
it.
and senior year.
That is wonderful. And how was the experience at UCF working on your education degree there?
It was great. I loved it.
Yeah. So some more experiences to get you ready.
Yes, for sure. We had one class. It was a reading class. We partnered with the Orlando Day Nursery, and that was a lot of fun. That was the little ones.
Yeah.
So obviously we don't all get to teach that grade level, but that was still really fun to be able to play with them and get to know them. And then as we got into our 2 internships was whenever I got the privilege to return to Lake County, and I was the only one in my class to work in Lake County schools. And it was an honor for me to be able to communicate with my peers and talk about our experiences. And I just felt like I had such a better experience being in Lake County schools, just being able to return since I was a Lake County school student.
Well, that was one of the things I wanted to ask you. Do you think the prep work that you had at the Tavares High School Teaching Academy gave you an advantage when you went to UCF? And if so, how so?
I do think so, 100%. I know I can remember vividly sitting in my first UCF class, paranoid because I didn't know what to expect. I'm at this huge university. There's about 40 kids. I've never seen their faces before. I only had one friend in class who happened to go to the teaching academy with me as well.
Oh, good.
So she was actually in my class as well. But other than her, I didn't know anybody. And I remember someone raising their hand and asking what a lesson plan was.
Wow.
And in my head, I'm like, okay, we're going into education. How do you not know what a lesson plan is? But then I had to reel myself in and remind myself of the privileges that I've already had being in high school. And some people have never had that. They just know they want to be in education. So that goes back to me wanting to recommend this program to almost anybody, because you do get so many experiences. And 2, it's in public high school. So if you don't love it, it's okay. We don't all love what we do, but it's a lot better than forking out all that money for a university degree and then finding out you don't love it.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Now, you returned to Lake County schools for internships too, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Okay. And which school and what grade level was that?
My first internship was at Astatula Elementary in kindergarten, and my second internship was at Astatula Elementary in 2nd grade.
Okay, wonderful. And now you have returned to teach with us full time. You could have taken your skills and taught anywhere. Why did you return to Lake?
I love how small of a school district Lake County Schools is. I know it's not the smallest in the, Central Florida, but I do feel like I had more mentors and faculty rooting for me and supporting me versus going to another school district. And I just love my mentors. I want to stay super close to them. And I am a firm believer you can never have too many mentors. I love to have all the people I'm contacting and just know that everyone's really supporting me, and it just helps my first year. My first year is already nerve-wracking enough. So as much as I'm excited, it's been really nice to just have those people I can just call, and I know that they're within a driving distance. They could easily come to my classroom, or even I've spoke with a couple of them already about being guest speakers or helping me in my room, just because I think that's so cool to come full circle. And it's just been an amazing experience, and I wouldn't have wanted to return to any other county.
So that actually is a great segue into one of the things I wanted to ask you. It sounds like you found a lot of support here when you were a high school student, and also, I guess, as a college student when you came back for internships. And what is the support for you like now? Is it an official mentor program? Are they employees that you remember from when you were here before? Just how are you finding the support now?
I'm not in a specific program per se. I have just kind of, in the back of my mind, pulled everybody together, and I have certain connections I call for certain things. I piggyback off of certain faculty that I got to know at Astatula through my internship that now I'm coworkers with. So that's just pretty cool in general. And then there's a lot of people I connected with at other schools or different events that I've been to as well that have really just my own little mentor group that I've created myself.
Makes sense. Now, as we've said before, teaching is not an easy job. And we know that there are all kinds of challenges. We hear about it all the time in the news everywhere. but you were still drawn to it, even knowing those things. Why?
I truly believe that if you're going to be in education, it's not for the paycheck. It's more so what you're willing to do for those kids. I know how big of a heart I have and how I was raised, and I really just want to give that back to our community. My degree is in early childhood education just because I firmly believe that the younger the kid is, the more likely they are to be able to love school. And that's truly those moments that are going to make them who they are for the rest of their lives. Through that, I wanted to teach younger children, and I believe that I have the passion for teaching. I've always loved it.
You definitely do. And if there are listeners in high school or beyond who might be considering a career in education, what advice would you give them?
I would tell them, please don't let the first couple of days or months hinder you from truly being a life-changing person in somebody's life. Even if it's just one person, maybe that smile will go a long way. And kids are awesome, and you can get to know them and just really build those relationships, and they will always remember you.
Well, I tell you, our students are very fortunate to have you as a teacher, and our district is fortunate to have you as part of the Lake County Schools family. Thank you, Ms. Ellixson, for being with us, and we sincerely hope that you have a fantastic rest of the school year and that it's the start of a long and fulfilling career.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Lake County Schools Ed Talks is a production of the Lake County Schools Communications Department, made possible in part by Addition Financial. Please join us again soon.